Hi everyone, and welcome to our Performing Arts Audition workshop. So we are here today with lots of different academics from lots of different courses within the Performing Arts region and they are here to answer any questions that you have, but also tell you a little bit more about the course and about the audition process as well. So if you do have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And without further ado, I'll now pass it over to Performing Arts.
Great, thank you. Hello, welcome everyone. My name is April Brown and I'm a lecturer in dance. And just before we have introductions from other people, I just thought I'd give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about in this hour. So we've got Carolina with us, who's a current student. She's going to share a little bit about her student experience on the programmes. And then we're going to talk through what to expect if you were to study in music, dance and theatre. There'll be lots of opportunities for you to ask questions about the application process. And then if there's time, we can talk to you a little bit about careers after studying as well. But I'll hand over to my colleagues to introduce themselves now.
Hi, everybody. My name's Robert Vesti. I'm a senior lecturer in theatre, and I'll be, because of my specialism really, which follows the acting strand, when I talk to you about the different strands you can take on our BA theatre programme at Middlesex. I'll be coming at it with that perspective, and I look forward to answering any questions you might have.
I suppose I'll go next, Rob. Hi, everyone. My name is Fiorenzo Palmo. I'm a senior lecturer in music. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program of studies that we have for BA Music, which is quite varied and exciting. And then I can also tell you about another program of studies on music business and arts management. And yeah, I'll be sharing with you some of the things that we do in our program of studies. And I'll be really looking forward to hearing from you if you have any questions, if you have any comments. Yeah, and hopefully we can sort of have a nice time together and sort of discover what we have to offer for you. Thank you. I suppose I'll pass it over to Carolina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Carolina Vidal, and I'm currently in my third year of dance practices, and I'm going to talk about my experience as a dance student at Middlesex. So I'm doing now a dance practices route. You're going to do the same modules in the first year and second one, but on third year you have the opportunity to choose what you want to go into, more specifically in dance. And it's really good because you have the performance route, you have choreography specific and dance science, or you have a portfolio mix and match, which for me is the best. And it was what I chose because I'm interested in loads of things. So I chose the collaborative practice, where we have the opportunity to collaborate with Wimbledon School of Arts, with designers, and it was great. So we could build a stage and perform together. And I'm doing also teaching safe dance practice, where I learn more about teaching technique. And we get to do a placement in the third year, which is really cool. But if you'd ask me if I would choose this in my first year, I would say no, because when I came into Middlesex, I was really into performance, and normally we all are. We're dancers, we want to perform the majority. And it was great to see my growth throughout these years. And this course really opened my mind in terms of what dance can be. The modules are really well balanced. We have loads of practical classes, techniques that I didn't heard of or even tried. But it's great in that area because we have a variety of techniques. So you're going to have, in the contemporary area, you're going to have techniques like Cunningham, Release, Humphrey, and then you're going to have, it's recent, so it's really good. You're going to have Urban, and I think it was a great addition to this course because dance is really broad. It's not only contemporary, not ballet. So it's good that we have the opportunity to try a bit of everything. And sometimes it could change our mind. Like me, I started on hip hop, and now I see myself more in release and contemporary based technique. So you're gonna have also ballet. So it's really well balanced, and you're gonna have to try everything, and it's gonna be great to improve your technique. And we also have some theory. You're gonna learn about science, which is really essential for us, and how to take care of your body. We have also modules on how you can pursue a career in dance and the different pathways, also how to improve your professionalism and how to put yourself out there in the best way. So that's really cool. And you have there a photo of myself in the bottom left side of this PowerPoint, and on the left side it's a photo of my first year, and on the right side it's me on my third year. And it's really nice to see the difference, especially like on my confidence. I can really see in these photos that I became more confident, and I think this course also really helped me to improve as an artist. And our first year is all about emerging as an artist. It's our module title, and I think it really suits the purpose because we're dancers, we move our bodies, but we make art, and that's what this course is about. It's also about relationships, and my year, I think it's the best one, and we really have this supportive connection with each other, and we are a big group, which is really cool, and we really support each other as an artist, and the classes are really good environment and safe, and that's what we need as dancers. We don't need a toxic environment. So that's really what made a difference when I chose the university. And it's a lot of international students, which helped me also a lot in my course, but also in the university. Middlesex is it has a lot of international students, and that's essential for me because I came from Portugal, and I had to come here for the first time in a plane and just get to studies in September. So I really had to trust the university because I had no way. And I didn't want to come back to Portugal, that's the truth. So it was really essential to have this community that we built. And also with the staff, that was a huge pillar for me. And especially in first year, it's a big shift in our lives. We're starting university, and it's essential that we have teachers that are there for us, and they really want us to have the best experience of our lives, and they're here to change whatever we need, because the course is one, but the students are millions, so they have to adapt so we can have the best experience and make the most out of it, which is really cool. And I also want to talk about the opportunities that I got to do as being a dance student and a student of the University of Middlesex. And one of them was the motion capture that you can see at the bottom, that green screen. That was really cool. It was a project that I did with the motion capture students, and I danced with that suit, and we put a character over it, and that was really cool. They also asked me to do some theater stuff, which is really cool because we're moving. So I think that interdisciplinary, it's really present in our university. And that's actually a big difference between university and conservatoire. And that's why I love university, because in a conservatoire, you're just in a performing setting, but in university, you can do so many collaborations with everyone and learn so much more. And between our performing community, we also do loads of workshops together. I had the opportunity to work with the music department and the theater department. I actually did a performance last term in December with music students. We had live musicians, and we get to build and compose that song together. So that relationship between music and dance, it's really present, and it was lovely to have that. Probably can move on to the next slide. Thank you. Here you have more moments of our community, dance community, and here you can see more opportunities that I've got. For example, on the top left side, you have a photo from Move It, the biggest dance convention, and it was a great opportunity. We got to perform in the main stage of Move It. And it was our urban teacher that choreographed it, and it was a great experience. And we got to perform with all 3 years of the dance course, which is good because we got to meet more people and bond with all the dance course. And that was really nice. Also, that I don't know if I'm in black dress, and that was competition in Manchester, and that was an opportunity that I got from being in a dance team, which is a student-led sport team they have at university, which is really cool. Like within the university, outside the course, you also have these little communities that are open to everyone, so everyone can dance. And that's really cool. So we have the dance team when we do competitions, and I had the opportunity to do Latin, which I really loved, and we could have in the courts. But it's really cool that we can have so many dance styles that we can try on the dance team, or even the dance society, which is a less committed thing, so everyone can join. And we had also workshops with Boy Blue, for example, that's on the bottom right side, and loads of other companies. They come to our university and give us workshops, which is really cool because it's an opportunity that outside it's more expensive and maybe harder to get into it. So yeah, they bring also the professionals to help us see what's outside this university world and what's actually out there in the industry. And to finish, I have this picture on the middle that was in the UCAS event at the Excel in London, that I have the opportunity through my student learning assistant role at Middlesex, which is a job outside the course, but that gave me the opportunity to support students from first year and second year in their classes, and also participate in events and represent the dance course in different contexts in the university or outside, for example, this event. So here I was talking to people like you that are interested in studying dance, and that is really cool. And it gave me more confidence and also improve my English, which is really cool. And it's an opportunity to network and talk to people and really get into the industry. And I think that's really cool. And all of this, by telling you all of this, I know that I'm in the right place and I chose the best thing for me. And that's me. If you have any questions, I'll ask at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolina. We were going to, I mean, that was such a great kind of insight into an undergraduate's experience, a student's experience. And it, you know, in many ways, I'm sure Forenzo will agree, it speaks to probably a similar experience that our graduates would have, undergraduates would have in theatre and music. We do have someone to come and speak about theatre who did our course, and he's now a member of staff, Toby Moran-Myler, but currently he's operating the box office for a stand-up comedy show that we're hosting tonight. Another ex-student from several years ago, Jacob Hawley, who you can look up. He's doing the rounds. He's profiling his new Edinburgh Festival, or a show that he plans to take to Edinburgh Festival later on this year. He's coming here tonight to perform it to our students. So Toby, who you see in these images here, is running the box office for that. But hopefully he's going to make a special appearance sometime soon, within this hour anyway, to come and speak to this slide. So we'll move on to, I think, Forenzo, hand over to you to speak about.
Yes. Thank you very much, Rob. And thank you, Carolina, for that wonderful account of your experience as a student. I could really hear the joy in your voice. And as Robert was saying, I think Carolina's experience, well, we hope that Carolina's experience is the experience of all of our students. And certainly that's really what we focused on and what we work towards, just to offer you opportunities, offer you a chance to develop yourself as an artist, as a musician, as a music business entrepreneur. And that's what I would like to talk to you about very briefly. I just wanted to touch on two of the degree programs that we run here at Middlesex University. And in some ways, there is some overlap between the two, but they also have very distinct identity at the same time. Of course, music business and arts management is really important to music, and vice versa. I suppose the names sort of give that away. And so we would like to think that our students, whatever degree program they take, will have experience, will gain some experience during their time at university of both areas. But obviously the BA music is a much more practical in terms of musicianship, much more practical degree. And similarly to what Carolina was saying, we like to give our students the opportunity to experiment in different genres of music. So whether you are a hip hop artist, whether you're interested in jazz, whether you're more interested in popular music in general, pop, or in more classical music, or production work, you'll certainly have the opportunity to gain experience and specialism in these areas. You don't have to necessarily decide firmly on any of these, especially at the beginning. We allow our students to experiment and explore different kinds of music, different practices with the music. So whether you're a performer, whether you're a songwriter, a composer, a producer, there are roots within this degree for you, but there's also an opportunity to gain experience in different practices. And that's certainly the ethos that's also at the heart of music business and arts management, where you are able to get to know the business of music, whether it be the live music industry, whether it be about copyrights, whether it be about streaming or management or organizing events. So there's a real variety of practices there. So again, the focus is very much on practical work, on getting you to do things, to organize events, to give concerts, to have that sort of professional real life experience that then will inform your development in your career. But again, as Carolina was very clearly pointing to, there's also an opportunity to explore your understanding of these practices and maybe discover something about yourself that you didn't know before. So that's, I think, one of the greatest achievements as a university student, is that to have transformed. And I think it's really one of the visions that we have here at Middlesex University, to transform your potential and to allow you to realize your potential. And sometimes we don't know just how good we are and the things that we can do. We had students, many cases of students who, like Carolina, started with an idea of what they wanted to do and then fell in love with a different practice. So there's that opportunity, but there's also cases in which students, are set. They want to be singers and they go through their studies singing, and then they carry on and practice as singers, and that's also accepted. There's space for everybody. I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I think would be interesting to maybe talk about if you're interested in asking questions about that. First of all, the facilities that we have, whether you're a producer, you're a performer, you're a composer, we have some really great facilities where you have the opportunity to work in a professional studio, you have the opportunity to work with professional ensembles, you have the opportunity to perform either on campus or outside campus. We have great connections in Camden Town and with venues like the Jazz Cafe, where you may be able to perform on stage. And in general, we have a great community of students from different backgrounds, very international crowds, very creative, from so many different genres that come together. And we have so many bands that are formed and students helping each other out with their own performances. And I think this sense of community is really important for us at Middlesex University. Like Carolina was saying, I think one of the most wonderful resources of university are the students that you're going to be on this journey with. And hopefully you'll make wonderful friendships, but also it's an opportunity for you to network, of course, because these people will carry on and go into the music industry and will be people that you know. And of course, the collaborations, with dance, we have a very strong connection with theatre. And those are really precious, and they're actually embedded in our courses of studies. So we don't just expect you to go out there and find a dance student and do a collaboration with them. Of course, you're welcome to do so, but we also facilitate that relationship because we think it's such an important aspect of working in music. Music has historically accompanied different arts and different media. And we really want our students to gain experience in collaboration. It's such a joy to work with other artists. We also have members of staff who are incredibly experienced in what they teach. All of our staff members are practitioners. They are also active in the music business. They organize or manage artists. One of our members of staff at the moment had a #1 hit in the UK, and is also currently managing an artist who's just opened for Sam Fender, so it's kind of gaining traction. And like this member of staff, all of the other members of staff are very involved in music. They may be working as composers, they may be performer themselves and touring, but we are very keen that, again, we offer students opportunity to network, so know people who are already in the industry, and these people are also our tutors. So it's a wonderful, wonderful chance to work alongside professionals and learning from them directly. And in general, that translates into different kinds of opportunities that we offer our students, whether it be performances or organizing events. As I was saying, we are in London, and I think London is a wonderful place for an artist to be because there are many different venues, there are different opportunities that are available to our students. And of course, we also organize them and set them up for our students, but also they're really at our fingertips because, being in London puts us in a very privileged position to have access to these places where students can perform, do gigs, and, really, as I was saying, start their career from the moment they join university rather than wait to graduate and then get into the music industry. So hopefully you find some of these things interesting, and I'm really looking forward to discussing any of these or more with you later. But for the time being, I'm going to hand it over to April, who's going to talk a little bit more about dance. Or is it Rob?
Actually, we're going to jump into theatre because I have this special guest for a limited time only. So we'll go back to, thanks, Fiorenzo. We'll come to Toby Moran Milet, who I've introduced, and now you can put a face to that name, and he can talk a little bit about his experience having been through a student on the BA Theatre programme.
Okay, so hi everyone. Yes, so I studied on the BA Theatre programme here at Middlesex from 2017 to 2020. And since then, since graduating, I've been working partly freelance as mostly a writer, director and dramaturg, but sometimes as an actor too. But also I've become the graduate academic assistant for performing arts at Middlesex, but with a specialism in theatre. So, you know, there's a tie to what we do at Middlesex in everything I do, because I'm very I really believe in the benefit of learning in the collaborative way that all the subjects teach here. But what was really good about studying theatre here for me was that it kind of trained me to see in the benefit of being a multidisciplinary practitioner, having lots of different skills and being able to practice them and focus on them in different projects, and not being afraid to say, I'm this and I'm also this. Because I came here with a bit more of an acting focus, but I really enjoyed writing, and I had directed a little bit. And what I found out from working here and being a part of collaborative projects where people picked up different skills all the time and were encouraged to learn different skills, I found that you know, actually there was a massive benefit by nurturing, you know, different skill sets that I can use in different projects to suit the situation that I'm in. And because I heard already Lorenzo talking about, you know, how brilliantly placed Middlesex is within London, because of the placement of the university, while studying here, I started getting involved with lots of theatre companies locally. Some people in, you know, higher years than me, once they graduated, they started making theatre companies, and I was still in touch with them. So even before I graduated, I sort of started making those connections, getting some experience in the fringe circuit, performing and working as a director and stuff. And that really helps with, once I'd graduated, going straight into that scene really. So that felt really easy to do, because the entire course is so practical, and there's such an emphasis on communicating with other people across, you know, across year groups, across different even degrees, but also in making the most of the resources that we have here locally in London. You know, there's so many times where we have visiting companies from around the city come in to deliver workshops, or to, or, you know, we get messages from them because they have, you know, opportunities for people to get involved with them. And I think, you know, because we really do champion that idea of, you know, practitioners being self-directed and able to, you know, have these different strings to their bow, students do tend to really take these opportunities and run with them, you know, very well throughout their degree. So that by the time they're graduated, it's not that kind of scary thing of, I don't know how to jump into this world. They've already been in the world of theatre and the creative zone the whole time they've been studying. And that's genuinely how I felt while I was here. So yeah, it's this, I would say that Middlesex is a really good option if you're thinking of trying to learn some new skills, but also develop ones you know that, you know, are really important to you, and you've got a lot of backing in already. I think across all the creative subjects, there's an awful lot of support for that kind of ethos, and it is a really useful one. Of course, there's nothing wrong with saying this is my absolute focus, and I really want to be passionate and, you know, well trained in that. But for people like myself, that really works. That kind of having different strings to your bow sort of thing. And of course, also it's a really supportive university in terms of when students have projects that they want to work on in the spaces here themselves. You know, I put together my first few theatre companies here. We put plays on, all that kind of stuff. So there's such an emphasis on that student community and what you can contribute, aside from just the modular work that you're also given as well. So it's a really like bustling hub of creativity. Yeah, we're incredibly practical. We hardly ever do anything by just sitting down and talking. It's all about getting up and upbeat and making stuff, which at the end of the day is probably, you know, the main reason you're kind of interested in these creative subjects, because you make things and it's good fun. that's what we're all about, I think. Yeah. But I don't know. Thanks, April. I don't know if there's people on the call at the moment. I'm happy to take any questions if people are about, or I can.
I wonder if
I think we're going to have Q&A at the end. I believe, unless any have come through, maybe they have done.
Yeah, I wonder if, just because we're kind of halfway through and we've heard a little bit about each discipline, I wonder if there is a question for theatre while you're both here. How much is the element of musical theatre applied within the theatre arts BA acting course? Is a question.
Good question. We don't do musical theatre, but we do value the element of song, and you know, we have a strong vocal practice. But if you know, singing and vocal practice is part of what we do. We don't do musical theatre in that traditional, conventional sense, as you'd imagine, in theatre.
What I would say though is that we absolutely do teach a lot of the components necessary to you know, go into performing in any different modes of performance, really, because a lot of the way we teach acting is kind of taking it down to a sort of toolbox approach, different ways in. So there are elements of lots of voice and vocal work, which sometimes includes, like, you know, song and stuff like that. There's elements of teaching through movement, you know, and looking at movement practitioners, and obviously, you know, the acting teaching here will still apply to, you know, all different kinds of modes of theatre. So there's definitely transferable skills from within the modules we have here. It's just there isn't one that is musical theatre, you know, by itself. But yeah.
I may also add to that, in music, we have students who have gone on to, you know, be professionals in musical theatre. Actually, one of our former students, Shan, she's currently playing Eliza in Hamilton here in London. So, you know, that might be another option. You know, music can prepare you to work in musical theatre, and we certainly have had students who've gone on to do that. Also, on that note, I remember a very wonderful experience we had, because I think Carolina really said it all, but Carolina mentioned society. So we have a musical society. We have very many different musical societies, but within the musical society, some of our students, obviously music students, are particularly involved in those, but they have written a musical theatre piece which was all about pirates, and it was really wonderful. It was performed at the university. It's definitely something that, you know, we address and we're passionate about, and we do. So
yeah,
just thought I would
add. Student union, there's certainly those options, and I think just picking up on what Toby was saying earlier about projects being very student-led. So, you know, there's lots of space, certainly in the theatre programme, for you in the third year especially, to define your own interest and project and shape a whole assessment and module around, we call it Theatre Lab. But, you know, there's every opportunity within those to thoroughly shape your own module. So you could well develop a musical theatre project within that. And as Toby says, you know, count on those skills, certainly in acting, that you would need to transfer into any kind of musical theatre career. Any other questions?
So there was a couple of other questions as well. So this one might be geared a little bit towards you, April, but if you have experiences of different styles of dance, but not to the same depth as others might have, would you say it's still a good idea to choose it as an option?
Yeah, really good question. And maybe we can pop to the dance slide just for a moment. So I know Carolina's spoken about it really well already, but so in terms of your experience in dance, we really welcome, and I'm sure this goes for all three of our disciplines, applicants from all stages of their training. So some people join us and they've been dancing, you know, from a very early age, and they've had a lot of experience. And some people have just recently discovered it, and perhaps they've only trained in one particular style. And we really welcome that diversity. All of our students are very different. They have different backgrounds and different interests, and that's something that we really champion. So you wouldn't be at a disadvantage at all. Quite often, even though students have had lots of dancing experience, the techniques that we offer, they might not have trained in before. So everyone tends to be coming from a similar place. You might really excel in the urban provision because that's something that's familiar to you, and the contemporary techniques might be a little bit more new. And that's the job of our tutors, really, to develop your skills. As Florenzo said really eloquently, that kind of transformation and discovering of your potential is something that we really focus on. So please don't feel that you'll be at a disadvantage. In terms of application, it might segue quite nicely, but we're really looking for you to be passionate about the subject, for you to have a keen interest in it, and that you really want to learn more. The programme is quite intense. It's full-time, 5 days. So we're just looking for that commitment and openness really to learn. And then our job is to really develop you as a person and support you in discovering what you might want to do as a professional.
Thank you for that. Do you want to continue talking about the dance course, or should we carry on with the Q&A? It's completely up to you guys.
If there's any more questions, just thinking of time, and so that you guys get the opportunity to ask everything you want, and I'm sure we can feed in nuggets of information. How does that sound to everyone else?
Okay. So as a student who is hoping to do the BA Theatre course, do you get a chance to perform and act outside of the university or in other non-typical settings?
Absolutely, and lots of it too. I mean, I can go to, oh, I thought I could go back to the slide. Let me try this. So you come into the first year. Let me talk about the BA Theatre degree a little bit, because it will help answer that. But you come in, everyone comes in on BA Theatre, but you can follow these kind of pathways, either if your specialism's acting or design or directing, and you can exit with one of those kind of awards as a bracket. But as Toby said, everything's very intensely practical. In the second year especially, we have site-sensitive projects, like site-specific projects that run as collaborative projects. So this year and the past few years, it's been in places like Pentonville Prison, not an open prison, by the way, a sort of derelict one, or a hospital site in Archway, where the collaboration's been with Mountview Theatre directors and immersive theatre practitioners. So we've had these, off-site, non-typical opportunities to perform in non-typical spaces. And then in the third year, especially, where you've sort of you've discovered who you are, you've developed who you are as an artist in the second year. You're really defining your practice in the third year. Our focus goes outward and external. So we perform in external venues. We perform, so for example, our performance art module is about to perform next week in a gallery in West London. We've also got our stand-up comedians who are finishing up their module next month in a pub in Crouch End to a live audience and full of real life hecklers to kind of give you a run for your money. And we've got other opportunities to do kind of walkabout theatre or to perform at different festivals. And the idea really is in the third year that you're preparing to make work for the world that's relevant to the world, that might be easily placed in a kind of festival, whether it be Brighton Festival or the Vault Festival or Edinburgh Festival. And I'm just trying to think if I've missed anything out in terms of kind of that opportunity to work outside, but there's plenty. And I'm missing a crucial one. Sorry, Toby, which is that we have a very strong placement industry focus in the third year. So I'd say about 70–80% of our third year students opt to take a placement in their third year. That might be 2 weeks at the National Theatre or you know, working in a school because you have a passion for theatre and education or teaching, or it might be, you know, as a director on a directing program connected to a theatre.
Yeah, I mean, we literally just got a student that's literally just finished a month at the National and has been, you know, doing tech and stuff for all their shows, and has got to know the design team there really well. So yeah, I mean, that sort of stuff's going on all the time. I think there's a massive mixture of practical experience elsewhere that's embedded into modules, and then just a lot of chance for networking and a lot of call outs that come through, you know, basically to our office staff from all over, and also from, you know, staff know, because we're all working in the industry, we know other people in theatre companies and stuff. Sometimes opportunities come through us. So there's a massive mixture of stuff that's to do with modular work that allows you to perform and work outside of the uni, and just call outs that we get, you know, tailored for you as students, for just extracurricular purposes that you can go for. And yeah, and
Fiorenzo and Carolina have already spoken to that collaborative, familial kind of environment that you enter in at Middlesex and the university environment. Not only have we got music and dance, actually, we've got film students. We've got fashion students, we've got a whole faculty here with journalism and creative writing, a whole faculty of arts, and it's this buzzing kind of environment of an industrious, lively, collaborative environment, and there's all those kinds of opportunities that come with that as well.
Thank you for that. And we've got another question just come through as well. So in the BA Theatre course, what is the ratio of theory and essay-based tasks to the practical and physical tasks? That is a good question.
Great question. Well, we've given you a clue by saying it's intensely practical, and it is. And 75% of your grades in your second and third year and your degree overall will be assessed through practice. 25% is assessed through some kind of research-based task that may not be essay. In fact, mostly it's not. It might be a kind of research presentation, a poster presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, or otherwise a kind of live form of essay. But certainly what we aim to do is, you know, produce people who are practitioners, but are also thinking practitioners who are going to go into the industry and not just kind of slot nicely into it, but rather kind of shape it, reshape it, and that's going to take some kind of critical powers as well. But certainly, you know, we're practice led, and the 75%, as I say, is assessed that way through production work, and we have tons of production work each year. Does that do the job of answering that question?
Yeah, I think it does. So we've got another one.
Sorry, if we may, just before we carry on, I just wanted to say, because it's wonderful when there's one person asking questions, but, you know, if any music applicant is wondering about the same things for music, I think that Rob's answers pretty much translate to the music degree as well, where we have a very strong practical focus, and we have a very specific aim at producing people who will go into the industry and work professionally in it by giving them opportunities while at university. So yeah, if you can think about how that may translate to music, it's pretty much along those lines. Thank you. Thank you, Rob, for your answers.
And April, would it be the same for dance as well?
I think maybe slightly higher in terms of the ratio for dance. Carolina's nodding, she's in her third year. But for us, it probably depends on what you choose. So in year one, it's highly practical. There's one essay. There is also an anatomy exam, but the rest of what you're doing is really practical. In second year, you have 2 essays, and the rest is highly practical. And then depending on your choices, you can choose to focus just on practice if you're on performance or choreography, for instance, it's highly practical, but you might want to do the research route or dance science, where there is a lot more research and writing to prepare you for that industry. So flexible, and you can tailor make it depending on your strengths, really.
Yeah, just that's a good, you've offered a kind of nuance to that, April, because it's true also that some students elect not to, for example, follow the big practical third year module and do a dissertation instead, because they might well want to develop their research skills and follow a pathway into master's level programs, which we run in theatre, and it's the same in music and dance. We have a master's provision, and you know, some of our students might want to go on to study at PhD level. So there is that opportunity. It's just about different choices are possible.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to, I think, all of the programs, from what I hope we've been able to share, how flexible our programs are, where you can find your own route within the program. So we believe that, you know, one size does not fit all, that all our students deserve sort of more individual, more tailor-made course of study. And so I think in our programs really try and offer our students opportunities for them to almost build their degree, you know, and place emphasis where they want to place emphasis, and also change their course if they feel that might be beneficial to them. So I think all of our degrees are very open to welcome students from different backgrounds and with different aims and practices.
Thank you for that. So I had another question, which was, so once the student has applied, whether they're applying for theatre, for music, or for dance, once they've applied, is the next stage an audition? Do they send over a tape? Like, can you go through the next stages, please?
Yeah, I mean, for us in theatre, we either request, if you're interested in acting, well, regardless, if we ask for a self-tape, like 2-3 minutes if you're an actor performing a text, play text. If you're a designer or director, maybe a longer video self-tape of maybe 5 minutes speaking about a production and your role in that. Or we invite you to take part. We don't call it an audition. It's a bit of a scary word, audition. We call it a creative interview or creative workshop. In fact, we had one today. And the idea with that is that you come, you meet us, you tour our facilities, and we make a piece of theatre in 2 hours with a bit of design input, and we have a fun exploration of a scene from a play text. And all the applicants that have been through that route have all testified, all said and commented on how non-pressured that environment was, and how fun it was, and how it was able to show that applicant doing the best that they could do. Whereas, you know, in the old days, I think that kind of conventional idea of an audition, a panel, and doing a speech could be quite scary, and definitely don't do that.
And for dance, I think there is definitely a similar trajectory for all 3 disciplines. I think this goes to for everybody, is that we welcome kind of a broad range of applications. We take a very kind of holistic and personal approach to our admissions process. So for all of us, you would apply via UCAS, and you'd have your personal statement, and we get to see your kind of grade profile and things. You would be, first of all, invited to an audition day or a workshop day, as Rob said. If you can't make it to campus for whatever reason, there is an option for you to do a video. That's what Carolina did because she was in Portugal. But equally, if you're in the UK and travel just isn't something that you can do at the moment, you can have the option to submit a short video online. If you join us on campus, again, similar to theatre, you have a whole day with us. You would have an hour's talk to get to know the programmes. So we very much feel that it's not just us kind of welcoming you. You also need to make sure that this is the right programme for you. It's a big decision. You'll then get a chance to watch classes, have a tour of the campus, and then you'll have a 2-hour workshop where you'll experience contemporary dance technique and urban practice. We'll get to see how you like to move as well. So there's kind of a bit of a creative task in there, and then we'll have a conversation at the end. You don't need to prepare anything. We're very much there to kind of teach you, and so that you can get that experience as well of what it would be like if you were studying with us. And for both settings, whether you submit a video or if you come and join us, you should hear within 7 working days, and your UCAS profile would be updated as well.
Thank you, April. And I just follow that by saying that's very much the same for music, in that we don't think of, after your UCAS application, we do invite you to talk to us, but we don't think of it in terms of an audition, because as April and Rob were saying, it's not a way for us to test you, but it's really just a way for us to get to know you and you get to know us, and so to start a conversation that is about, you know, your potential and where you want to go and how we can help you get to where you want to go. And so in music, we ask you to share some of your work. And of course, because music has so many different practices, that might be a piece that you want to perform, or maybe a production that you want to share and play for us, or it may be some ideas that you might have had for an event that you would like to organize. So it's really a way for us to get to know each other, and just see, you know, what can we do? What can we do for you? How can we support you in your development? And what would you find at Middlesex University that would help you to achieve what are your goals? So yeah, if you're able to come to campus, that would certainly be in the way that April and Rob have described. You come and meet us, you get to see the facilities, you get to meet some of the people that you'll be practicing, performing, playing, and working alongside. And if you're not, then we can certainly do a meeting over Zoom. So we're really flexible, but it's really important for us to get to know you and hear from you, and you to kind of meet us as a department, and yeah, just really make up your mind whether Middlesex is really the place where you can grow and develop and achieve and transform your potential.
Thank you for that. And I just wanted to confirm, Robert, with the theatre workshop day, could that be done online or is it in person?
Good question. We facilitate both. So this morning we had a session that, by the way, they're half days, we're 3 or 4 hours in theatre. Today was on campus. We've got one online in a couple of weeks' time. We tend to do 2 or 3 online because obviously we have international students and people applying from far away abroad. So yeah, a mixture of both.
Perfect, thank you. So we've got a couple more questions, and I am mindful that obviously we are getting closer to 7 as well. So maybe we'll do one more question because we've got 5 minutes left. So this is specifically for theatre, but is there certain types of text that you would suggest choosing for the interview, like specific eras?
Well, if you come to our creative workshop, we work with the text, and we very much work with contemporary text, or contemporary adaptation of more classical or early 20th century text, play text. If you're doing a self-tape and you're performing something, do something something we're not at all prescriptive. As you probably gathered from Forenzo and April, we really want to get to know you and value you and your ideas and get to know who you are, and that's really what counts. So you're not coming to fit into something prescribed. So do something something that speaks to your strengths, something you feel comfortable with, something that you can shine with and enjoy. So I guess self-tape answer is there's nothing specific. So we're interested in your choices.
Thank you for that. And the same goes to music and dance. Is there anything specifically people should choose, or are they happy just to, do whatever they want, whatever they fancy?
Yeah, for music, absolutely. There are many ways to practice music. So whether many different genres, and we welcome them all, whether you're in hip hop, you're in pop or jazz, and whether you're a performer or a composer, as Rob was saying, and April as well, I think we're very student focused. We're very focused on you, what you want to achieve, and how we can help. And I think in the arts, we want to develop individuality. We want to develop artists, as Rob was saying, who are thinking, are able to shape the industry, not just slots in it. And so I think from the get-go, we're really keen to know you and what we can do for you.
And I think this similar for dance. I think probably the application is that we just want to see how you like to move, who you are, what your interests are. You don't need to prepare anything for the audition day, or the practical one if you come to campus. There will be space for you to show us kind of your own dance style, but we will also facilitate talk content as well. If you're doing a recording and you're submitting that, just really show off your skills. It's a chance for us to get to know you and what your interests are, and anything is welcome. I just thought I'd mention just something about the personal statement, if that's helpful, and I think this will apply to all of the disciplines. I think that same process applies, whereas again, we're not prescriptive. There's no right or wrong or kind of method to the perfect personal statement. Really, we can see your grade profile, we can see where you've studied, and we've got the lovely references from your kind of tutors or employers. And the personal statement is really a chance for us to get to know you outside of those qualifications that you've done. So tell us about the things that you've done outside of education, or, the lovely experiences you've had in your own time, or maybe your interests for the future, why you might like to study this discipline. And we really just want to get a sense of what your interests are, and maybe future aspirations. So just think about that. But there isn't any right or wrong. It's not a tick box system. We really enjoy reading all the different things that people have to say. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think that's all we have time for today, but thank you so much for everyone attending, and thank you so much for our academics for putting together a really informative and thorough presentation, and answering loads of great questions. And thank you to both students as well, talking about your experiences. I know that was really, really helpful to our attendees. For any attendees, we will be sending this recording around next week, as well as the other recordings around personal statements in UCAS as well. But I'd just like to wish everyone a lovely evening, and thank you so much for joining us.